No shave clause. There we are. Look at that. What up? I think we're live on Twitter, which they call X now, boys and girls, and YouTube TV. I don't know if this is a one-time thing or if they're going to allow us to do this every week, but I am told cursing is allowed. That's what I was worried about.
Fucking better be.
And if I curse, YouTube would be like, that's it for them. Better. That's right. Thank you for joining, everybody. It is the week 16 Beating the Book MegaPod. And first, introducing the pillars of the show. By the way, I'm Gill Alexander. Pillars of the show. Down there from his mom's cork attic. He looks like he shaved. You got a haircut. Todd Wishnev, everybody, the star of the Showtime docuseries Action. What's happening, Toddy?
Neither is correct, but I'm looking up on X. I would like to watch the show while I do the show, but how do you even get it on X? I can't even find it.
Don't do that. You're just
I'm sure VSiN's tweeted it out.
You are watching it. Look in your camera. You're watching it.
Don't do that.
I'd like to see how you guys are doing.
And then Will Hill, of course.
I'm watching it.
Todd Wishnev at T. Todd, T. Wishnev for Todd, and then Will Hill at Not the Will Hill, the host of Should Have Been Todd Shape.
Do you see us?
Oh, good. It's me talking in the background while we're setting up. That's great.
Will Hill at Not the Will Hill, host of the Should Have Bet More podcast. What's happening, Will?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
Well, we can get Todd to stop talking. And then our guest, week 16 rotating guest. You may know him as producer number 9, so much more than a producer of a numbers game at VSiN. It is, let me spell this. Let me read this. Kelley Bydlon. Kelley Bydlon. Is that your house, Kelley? Is that where you are?
It's my place. Happy to be with you, fine folks, today on the first live MegaPod edition. This is so exciting. I mean, it's exciting to be invited, period.
Is that a picture of an elephant? We don't.
Yeah, it is.
Is that a picture of an elephant behind you?
Is that the place women have been to?
This is from my safari days to South Africa and Zambia. Yes.
Is that true?
You like that, Gil? Yeah. Swear to God, I took those pictures. Yeah. Swear to God.
Kelly, is that the place multiple women have been to that you were talking about?
That's right. Multiple women have been here. That's right. Multiple.
Awesome.
Yeah, man. That's like from a safari like a dozen years ago. Like I was totally that person that was like, I'm going to become a photographer like a year beforehand and like learned how to do the bare minimum. And like, it's all on, it's all digital these days, right? So you take 1,000 freaking pictures and a few turn out okay.
Unrelated question. Does 1.5 count as multiple?
I said 3.
Is the half alive? I'm a half person.
When does betting stop? Has betting stopped already?
What does betting stop on what?
On your thing. In other words, has it closed already or is it still ongoing?
No, it's still ongoing, sure. Yeah.
Oh. Todd, the grades, the records, please, as court stenographer. He's so happy. He's ahead.
It's funny because I actually, when Kelley mentioned Zambia, I actually had Zambia State over last week. And it came in Zambia, because not a lot of defense in Zambia, we all know. Anyways, let's go to the records. The records. Everybody went 1-2 last week, but I had a 2.5 game lead going in. So if everyone goes 1-2, what happens? I still have a 2.5 game lead. Gilly, our good friend, went 1-2. Both him and Willie had Carolina, so that took them both down with my little announcership last week. So Gilly moves to 23-21-1, and we all lost our teasers on the Commanders, which I'll talk about in a moment. Gilly moves to 4-10-1. Willie also had a 1-2. He moves to 20-24-1. He is 6-7-2 on teasers. I again also had a 1-2 after that horrendous beat in the Pats under with all those late touchdowns, and I moved to 26-19. I believe I mentioned it's a 2.5 game lead. I am 6-9 on teasers, and the guest has matched the Gilly record at 23-21-1, also with a 1-2 from Ben Wilson and 6-9 on teasers. So that's where we stand for the season. I think I've mentioned it before, but just in case you don't know, I have a 2.5 game lead. Thank you.
Ben, by the way, got keisterized with that Jags. He had Jags plus 3.5 against the Jets. That was a ultimate keister blaster. Jeez.
Keisterization. All right, Dumbo of the week. All right, first of all, people want to know, Todd, is it Dumbo or Dumbbell?
I'm not strict about that. You can call it either way.
All right. It is your podcast, after all.
It is.
Dumbo of the week.
I'm glad you decided to show up this week. It was very nice of you. Thank you.
Oh, jeez.
So inappropriate.
That's 15-yard penalty. The down counts. Second down.
Brutal.
First warning.
Like I was on vacation. We have to have 3 separate categories because the Dumbo stuff is so widespread this week that for the first time ever, we have to have 3 separate categories. First of all, we have to have a. What'd you say?
There was just too much. There was just too much Dumbo-ness. Yeah.
The officials get their own category. I think you already alluded to it, Todd. The New Orleans Washington finish.
Unbelievable.
Where, for no reason, Skins probably, I can't say with 100% certainty, but probably should have won that game by 7 and crushed Washington teasers because with no timeouts left, the Saints had no timeouts left. The Saints got a first down with no timeouts left at the 1-yard line of Washington. And the official on the bottom of your screen, walking up, jogging up to the up the line of scrimmage, waved the clock to stop. And it was about exactly 3 seconds. And that's when Spencer Rattler spiked the ball with 3 seconds left in the game. So New Orleans got a touchdown on the next play. They had a 2-point conversion to win, which failed, which, by the way, would have killed 5 Survivor entries in Circa Survivor, each worth, $280,000 or something like that. So all the Commanders teasers went by the wayside. So that's its own category. And by the way, Kelley and I were talking about this on the numbers game on the radio side earlier this week. What people forget about that game is Washington missed a field goal at the end of the third quarter, but the officials failed to notice that the game clock had already expired. So it was 4 seconds after zeros. And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry, doesn't count. So they got a redo at the beginning of the fourth quarter, and Greg Joseph made the field goal. So they were just fucking up shit everywhere. Excuse me, YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. That's the referee category. But then there's the player category, which Jonathan Taylor has to win, even though there were multiple of these. He was the only offensive player, right?
But
go ahead, Todd.
Before you go on, but I think we're understating here what happened in that Redskin game, because I've lost games to earthquakes, I've lost games to every type of bad beat imaginable, and I've lost to bad calls. This is not a bad call. This is a new category called I forgot the rules with 11, 10, 9, pause, 8, 7, 6. This is a new category. The ref forgot the rules? Is this what I'm led to believe? By the way, I lost a game earlier this year, Texas, Georgia, because it was no longer pass interference after they called pass interference because the crowd went crazy. I've never seen it before. I've asked everyone I've ever seen before. Have you ever seen them change the call after the call was already literally announced? No one's ever seen it before. Now we have a new category. Refs just forgetting the rules. Now, what are we supposed to believe on that? Gilly, have you ever seen the ref forget the rules?
No. And the fact that you saw it live, I was screaming at the TV, right? I love watching. And I'm like, what are they doing? What are they doing? And the fact that this is the thing we talked about, Will brought this up many times before too. And Kelley and I did as well. Replay assist showed up in our lives out of nowhere. We never got an explanation. And somehow replay assist does not apply to that. The easiest thing it could possibly apply to.
Yeah.
No,
it works when it wants to work.
But I mean, do we ever question? I've never seen a ref do that before in the history of NFL. We've watched a million games. So what is that?
Which ref is it, by the way? Which ref is responsible? Is there a separate ref that's responsible for the clock? That's because I saw the the transcript with Hockley, who is the head official, saying, "Hey, the clock official stopped the clock. He made a mistake," but I don't know what that means. I don't know who the clock official is. I don't know if you guys have any insight on that.
Someone with smarter refereeing knowledge would know that answer.
Yeah.
I do not have that answer.
We saw
wasn't the guy running from the sideline?
Yeah, he was
No,
running in from
the bottom, as you're looking on TV, right? The guy who's right on the line of scrimmage, and he's like, the guy who was coming down, of course, didn't stop the clock, but the guy at the bottom did.
Yeah, he was
that's not a clock operator, right? That's not the hometown clock operator helping his team out.
No, it's just the ref making that call, calling the ref. Ball.
Okay. Yeah, the ref's waving his arms. I've never seen it before, and I'm not one of these big conspiracy theorists guys, but I mean, really? What is that? Like, it is very unusual that all the teasers were sitting on the 1.5 number. And I'm not saying that like the NFL is making orders for the teasers to go. I just never seen anything that ridiculous before. You know, they don't usually forget the rules. I mean, what's next? You pass in, you have a horrible roughing the passer, and they go 10 yards. Oh, whoops, we forgot the rule. Usually it's 15, but we forgot this time it's only 10. Sorry. I mean, what are you talking about? You forgot the rule. What are you talking about?
As long as they do it like you did it, Todd, where you're like this. As long as they do it like that, I think I'll forgive them.
Sorry.
Right. Oh, whoopsie. I mean, Gill maybe gave the best sort of explanation I've heard for it this week, but like there was people like after that being like, well, maybe he thought he was reffing a college game. I'm like, what are we talking about? What are you talking about? Like, what if I went into work every day and thought I was doing a different show? Like, what? That's what we're talking about here. It's insane.
My possible explanation that Kelly's referring to was if the official thought that Bobby Wagner on the previous play laid on top of Foster Moreau of the Saints and caused the delay, maybe then he would stop the clock temporarily. But then Kelley pointed out correctly, then don't you just throw a flag if that's the case?
You're right. Right. If it's a
penalty,
anyways,
he started waving before. That was all. I looked at it again. That wasn't part of the story. This guy's coming in waving like
you're not suggesting a conspiracy, but what you are saying is that it does leave it open to conspiracy theorists, I guess.
Yeah, because it makes no damn sense. Todd is right. There's no explanation.
5,000 games. We've watched 100 million games. We've never seen them not know the. By the way, of all the times not to stop the clock, it's at the end of the game. There's no timeouts. Everyone knows. All the refs are going. Yeah, of course. I mean, it's mind-boggling.
The thing about that is I mean, gambling aside, that could have killed the Skins season too. Could have killed their season.
It's like the line from Casino where the guy hits 3 jackpots and De Niro saying, you're either in on it or you're too stupid to know the difference. Either way, you're fired.
Right. Yeah.
That's a great call, Willie.
It's like the equivalent of basketball of like a ref watching a ball go through the net and then being like, oh, missed shot. Like, don't count it. Like, what are we talking about? It was a completed pass in the boundary of play. Like, we've watched football all our lives. Everybody knows that the clock still runs there.
Yeah, I think you're right, though, Todd. Even in doing it, like not enough has been made about that. Not enough has been made about that. And then there's the category, the traditional Dumbo of the Week category, which is coaching, which, like, there's so many picks. I don't know what your favorite is. The most recent was Raheem Morris on Monday night, where the Raheem Morris thing was incredible because well, first of all, there was a couple here, right? Raheem Morris decided on, and we'll give him, I know he's a defensive coach by trade, but he used to be an offensive coach also at times. But the Falcons, about to say the Hawks, Falcons had the ball with 2 minutes left in the game, 3rd and 6. They're up 6 points. The Raiders have no timeouts left, none. So what do? You should probably run the football because that takes off 40 seconds. And then maybe you get 5 yards.
Wait, Gilly, you forgot one other thing. The Raiders don't have a functional National Football League offense as well. That's one other thing to put in there.
That is correct. But even with a non-functional quarterback, right, you still play the 40 seconds off the clock. And by the way, maybe you get 5.5 yards and you go for it on 4th down. Whatever. Nope. They decide to pass. Incomplete. It's fucking incredible. And the Raiders get the ball down to the 35-yard line where Desmond Ridder does throw a pick in the end zone. But, I mean, they could win the game because of that stupid. That's just the latest. There were others during the week as well. Todd, do you have a
I forgot. There were so many. I just totally like blanked. There were so many. It was
Tomlin
ridiculous.
punting down 14 with 10 minutes to go, 4th and 7 from plus
that was nice.
territory. Where was that out on the field? I want to get it right.
That
It
was
was
a
bad
classic.
wherever it was.
Tomlin punting down 14. It was just over 10 minutes left in the game, and the Steelers never saw the ball again. Never saw the ball. I'm trying to think. We're probably forgetting one. Thanks for making me do the research here, Todd, by the way.
You didn't like the Campbell onside kick. I didn't love it, but I had not a major issue with it.
I didn't hate the Campbell onside kick, but what it is a continuation of my Dan Campbell theory, which is he has no fucking idea what he's doing. Like, people give him all this credit for, Dan Campbell. Q Todd, by the way, on Dan Campbell.
Look, I just want to be straight with you guys. I got to be able to look you guys in the eye, and I got to tell you the truth about the onside kick. Applebee's paid me because we're playing the Bills in an endless points ball game. They said it would be great if we could have an endless wings and endless points game, and that way we could promote. I'm just being straight with you guys in here about the wings. They're endless, they're boneless, and they're endless. I figured if we onside kick, we could get even some more endless wings and points.
So that's what he does with 4th downs, right? He's gotten to the point. Wait, I love when teams go on 4th down. I love it because analytically, a lot of times it's sound, right? And this is a great development in football. But Dan Campbell is almost trying to live up to this reputation of, I got to go for it every time because of the end thing. So with the onside kick, though, it's just an extension of that, which is, all right, I can't keep the Bills off the field, so I'm going to kick an onside kick. Okay, fine. I have no problem with that. I get it. You can't stop them. But if you did it then, the next time you came within 10, you didn't do it, right? So it just, again, feeds into my theory of he's just kind of doing it off the fly. And I think that, by the way, he did admit he regretted it, so maybe he himself was like, yeah, I kind of fucked up. But I always say, I was like, this is going to haunt them in some game in the playoffs. And as you pointed out, Will, it already did last year in the NFC Championship, right? They were like, every time they went for it, they botched it. And I think he was too conservative in the first half of that NFC Championship, and he punted when they shouldn't have. And so ever since then, he's like, I'm going for it every time. Endless wing. So
By
anyway,
the way, that Tomlin punt was 4th and 7 from the plus 46 with 10:40 to go, down 14. My goodness.
By the way, I just wanted to know what you guys think. I feel like every year in the NFL, when a team is doing amazing early season and they kind of peak too early, I feel like the Lions feel like that team to me, that team that looked like a juggernaut. And, the Lions are going to win the Super Bowl. The Lions are the Lions. We love the Lions. The Lions are amazing. And you seem to peak too early, and then all the injuries come, and then your whole season falls apart. It feels like that's going to happen to the Lions this year. I don't know if you guys feel the same, but that feels like that.
It's the injuries.
It certainly feels possible.
It's the injuries. Like,
the one thing I think that could save them, I think if they can get the one, they can kind of catch their breath and get the bye, and then, get 2 home games, and then it's just such a short path to the Super Bowl where, hey, you win 1 home game, you're home for the NFC title game. If they can get the one, they'll have a shot. If they don't get the one, I think they're dead. I don't think they're a real contender with that defense.
Yeah, I feel like when we normally say that, though, Todd, like they peak too early, it's usually like I don't think they're dealing with, most of those teams aren't dealing with the just epidemic of injuries now that is racking up for the Lions on that side of the ball. Like, I think that's the direct reason. If we see them kind of stumble here, it's going to be on that defensive side and just all the injuries racking up.
I'm sure we're forgetting somebody, but we got to move on. Just Dumbos everywhere. Players, coaches, refs. All right.
I have a couple quick in-game.
Thursday Night Football?
I have a couple quick in-game just to talk real quick. So this is what I would label the too cute for being too cute and screwing yourself. Let's put it that way. I'm watching the Steelers-Eagles game. It's 3-0 Eagles. The Steelers can't move the ball. The Steelers can't do anything. They get a fumble. Now I'm begging the Steelers to get a touchdown to go up 7-3 so I can come back and roll a gigantic bet on the Eagles because I know there is no chance the Steelers are winning this game, okay? The Steelers are so inept on offense now without Pickens and against the Eagles that all they can muster is a field goal. So the line doesn't even come down. The in-game people are getting smarter. They saw what I saw, and they didn't move it down either, really. So at that point, I'm thinking to myself, should I play the Eagles at like -7 there, or should I play Steelers first half team total under 9.5? Because I'm thinking the Steelers can't get a touchdown in the first half. I mean, this is ridiculous. So I take Steelers, Steelers under 9.5 team total. So a touchdown beats me, but I'm not worried about it because I don't think the Steelers can drive on the Eagles. Well, 3rd and 8 or 3rd and goal from the 8 or 9 yard line, and Wilson throws the Freiermuth. I don't know how Freiermuth caught the ball because the guy's hand was on the ball, knocking it down somehow. Okay, so I lose the bet. I also made a bet on Eagles -7 as well, but that didn't really. It ended up being a 1-1 when it could have been just a 1-0. Just do the smart thing. You know the Eagles are winning this game. You don't need to get too cutesy with the team total on the Steelers and everything. You knew the Eagles were going to dominate this game. Just do that. And so I turned what would have been a great winning situation. I did have the under at halftime because it's, by the way, that if there's ever a case for the under of a game when it was 17-13 at the half and you're thinking, wow, 17-13, that's a lot of points. It wasn't for real points. I mean, they were both averaging like 4 yards a play, and I took under 53.5 at the half, and that easily cashed. But anyways, I guess just, put this one under. Don't be so cute sometimes and just do the easy thing, and you don't have to get all fancy.
I like it. All right. Anybody have a best bet on Thursday Night Football? Chargers and the Broncos tonight. Chargers favored by 2.5. I believe consensus.
What do we have for total? What do you have for consensus total?
We had 41 earlier this morning. I don't know what it is right now.
Yeah, by the way, I would say it's mainly 41s out there.
You see the complaints on Twitter? People are upset that you guys were haggling so much on the numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I see how I disassociated myself with it. Oh, you do?
You guys.
Right, what is it? Yeah. You guys. I wasn't here. You guys.
I mean, even if it's 41, I thought it was 41.5, but I thought, well, even if it's 41, I'll take the under 41. The first time these two teams played was before Bo Nix really seemed to show that he could play a little bit of offense. And I went back and looked at that game. It was basically the Chargers getting 2 long touchdown drives, touchdown drive, a long field goal drive to go up 10-0. Then again, another field goal drive and a 55-yard touchdown drive to go up 20-0. And then at that point, it was just, play the game out. The final was 23-16, but that was not indicative. The game really was kind of dominated by the Chargers defense. I want to go under here because last week, the Broncos won that game, and it was really not a Broncos win. If Jonathan Taylor, I guess you mentioned it briefly, but the epidemic of not running into the end zone with the football, I don't know why that's so hard to do. I mean, you've put your whole life on the line. You've taken a zillion hits in your career, and now you finally get to the end zone and you drop the ball at the 1 yard. It's like something psychologically wrong there. But anyways, it would have been 20-7, I believe, Colts, if that touchdown goes. And the Denver isn't going to win that game because Denver wasn't doing anything on offense that whole game. Basically, the Colts gave them that game. I was not impressed with the Denver offense. And I feel like maybe they're starting to figure out the Peyton, smoke and mirrors Denver offense. I mean, it was never great, but I just feel like the Chargers defense is going to be good enough to slow them down. And on the Chargers side of the ball, there's no one to throw the ball to. I don't care who you are. I don't care how athletic they are. I don't care what they look like. There's no one to throw to. Disley's hurt. The McConkey's, is he playing? Is he not playing? I don't care. That even with all those guys, there's not any good guys. I mean, there's good guys, but there's no great guys. There's not enough on offense for the Chargers. And you saw Chargers could only get 17 against Tampa. Tampa's not good on defense. That's an indictment of your offense, which we were never even, I don't think anybody here was like really that excited about the Chargers offense. We just think, look, Herbert's a great talent, but there's no one to throw to. They can't really block him up real well. And now you lost Dobbins too. I mean, come on, there's no offense here. The Broncos defense is their strong side of the ball. So give me the under 41 here. It's a divisional matchup. They know each other like, everybody knows each other. There's not going to be any tricks here. This game's ending 19-17. Under 41, a Broncos Chargers tonight. Sorry.
Todd, I actually made the case for the under in this game on the radio side this morning. So I'm with you. It's not going to be one of my bets, but the Herbert injury, right, is ill. He had a 2.6% scramble rate with a clean pocket, according to Action Network, compared to just over 10% when pressured. Broncos, a good pressure team. They allow the lowest explosive rate in the NFL. Also, Jaleel McLaughlin not in for Denver. Chargers are better against the pass. They're 7th best DVOA than they are against the run, which they're 16th in terms of run defense DVOA. There's just a lot of stuff. And by the way, Bo Nix is way worse against zone defenses than it's man-to-man, and the Chargers play zone. So I'm with you. Like, it's not low enough. If anything, it's an under. So.
This is one of my picks, too. I'm on the under as well.
Wow. Light 3 there. Okay.
Be for me, but I want to play something else.
I actually think I'm going to get involved in this game too. I know we talked about it a bit this morning, Gill. Hey, look, it's been all Denver. I waited too long. I mean, we're off the 3. We're to 2.5s now, but I actually think this is how I'm going to sort of creatively get off of my Browns position from earlier in the week and do a teaser with teasing up Broncos and teasing down the Bengals. So I think I will be involved in this. I like the Denver side, everything you guys just said about. I expect this to be low scoring. Denver defense has been great. You look at what this Chargers, like you were talking about, Todd. I mean, this Chargers offense has fallen off a cliff too. You're talking the past 5 weeks haven't gained over 300 total yards in any of those games. When it was looking good earlier in the year, when they were able to run the ball a little bit more easily, limited wide receivers going up against one of the better defenses in the NFL. I think this will be tight. I think it will be lower scoring. I would agree with the under, but I'm going to tease up Broncos probably at 8.5. I think that's a good teaser leg this week.
Just to add a few more things to the under here, I will say this, Todd, this might be a good third quarter under too, maybe even a first quarter under the 7.5. Because Todd, we've had some success playing those third quarter unders where they're not trying to beat the clock to score at the end of the third quarter. But look, the Chargers, Harbaugh and Peyton for that matter, both old school coaches, both not afraid to run the ball. And Harbaugh probably looks at, hey, my quarterback's beat up, let me run the ball. Peyton says, hey, my quarterback stunk last week. Maybe he's regressing a little bit. Let me run the ball. So I think you'll see a lot of carries in this game. And I just think this is a closer, more conservative game plan. I do like the under as well. And if you do like the Chargers to win this game, the Broncos have not clinched a playoff spot yet. They go at Cincinnati next week. Cincinnati's got a very winnable game at home against Cleveland. It could come down to Week 18 where Denver has to beat Kansas City to get in, or hope Pittsburgh beats Cincy. I mean, it's a long shot, but it's not impossible. Denver is plus 650 to miss the playoffs. They're not out of the woods.
This also per Action Network. I can't remember a gentleman's name, but I gave him a shout out today on
Nick Giffen
numbers game. Denver, thank you. Denver puts up just 13.2 points per game on 16.3 expected in 5 games they played against top 13 defenses, of which the Chargers are one, by the way. Compared to when they play worse defenses, they outperform that, 30 points versus 27.5 expected points per game in the other 9 games. So they're definitely a team that rises and falls based on the competition. So, I mean, there's a lot of things for the under. As low number is, there's a lot of data for that. Okay, Kelley, your first best bet, sir. Can I call you sir?
Well, I guess that teaser starts.
Tech update. We have a tech update from Twitter is not going. YouTube is working fine. There's your update. Your update.
So if you found us on YouTube, good job. Stay there.
Nice
and sorry for everybody scrambling on Twitter right now. Yeah. I mean, I guess I'll use that teaser, but we'll go to. A teaser would be my teaser, I guess, for the week. I'm going to go Giants Falcons under 40. What are we at now? 42.5.
By the way, Kelley, just so you know, we're not at the teaser portion of the show yet. We do the teaser.
Well, that's what I'm going to save it. I'm saving it. I'm pumping the brakes and I'm saving it, Todd. Right?
Don't shame the guests.
I'm just busting Kelley's balls a little bit. I'm not.
All I did was answer if I was involved in the Thursday night game, and now I'm hitting the pause button, saving that teaser for the teaser portion. You're right, Todd. Okay, all right, I'm gonna go. Yeah, Giants Falcons under 42. I know the Giants are got nobody on defense right now, and they're rolling out. So they're rolling out names this week. I was listening to Adam Chernoff this morning talking about you're rolling out names that you haven't even heard of before that will be playing in the secondary this week. But still, we're talking about Drew Lock, Michael Penix Jr. getting his very first start with this team. I think this has got ugly game written all over it, offensively, defensively. I don't understand how either one of these sides is going to put up big points unless the Falcons are just running all over New York, which they might be able to. I think under 42.5 is a good look this week in that game.
All right. Todd, you already gave one, right?
Yeah, I was just interested in the fact that Penix was at Costco about to eat a hot dog, and then when he heard that he was going to be the starter, he decided he wasn't hungry. And I was wondering if I could maybe just be named the starter every week, and then I wouldn't be hungry. Speaking of which, it's now been 12 days that I haven't eaten carbs, so let's not all go. It's my favorite line.
Hold on,
Harvey.
How much weight have you?
The Harvey Keitel, let's not go suck at each other's dicks just yet. But it is a start. It's something. It's nothing great. It's nothing big. And I'm always a failure in this area of life. I've lost over 100 pounds 6 times, but it's 12 days with no carbs, which is good.
How much have you lost?
I'm not concerned about that, but I will tell you I've lost about 9 pounds because I'm not really exercising really yet. But if I would have been exercising, I would have lost more. But I'm not even worried about that so much as, I don't want my hands and my feet to hurt from diabetes because I'm eating shit. And that was starting to happen again. So, it's just it's a good positive step. So if an NFL team wouldn't mind naming me the starter so I would get not hungry right before I have, a fall, that would be great too.
It's hard to walk into Costco and not eat anything, though. Come on. That's Costco. You could go there and eat a whole lunch. It's fantastic.
Oh, I've never had a Costco hot dog. Are they actually good or are they just cheap?
No, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Yeah.
The issue is not getting the hot dog, though. Kelley is exactly right. What you do is you go in there and there's samples galore if you go at the right time, and you can just pop sample after sample after sample. You can literally have a whole lunch there with just going to the sample, as long as you're not embarrassed to go back for more. And the ladies there, they don't shame you too badly, so it's pretty good.
Yeah, just bring your own paper plate with you. Good to go.
The line for the hot dogs at the Costco in San Francisco is way too long to deal with. Way too long. You're just I want one, but I'm not waiting for this line.
Bad as you want a wiener, you won't wait long that long.
Yeah, for any hot dog on the planet, how long are you willing to wait? How many people in line? You know what I mean? I think if there's more than 3 people in a line for a hot dog, I'm all right, I'm moving on with my life.
Depends how badly you want the wiener, right, Gilly?
What is that? By the way, how many double entendre Penix headlines did you read this week? Penix inserted into the lineup.
Oh,
you see any of that? I saw a bunch of those.
Penix thrust deep into the Falcons playoffs.
Penix thrust into the lineup. There was a lot of that. There was totally a lot of that. Yeah. That's my turn. Because you and Will have a pick, right?
Yes. Everybody's giving a pick. It's your turn, Gilly.
I'm going to take the under also in the game. So I'll just do the snake here. So that's going to be one of mine also. It's such slim pick now. Guessing lines, I could come up with 2 that I liked. And the team have value so bad. But I'm going to have to play the Chicago.
You're having mic issues, Gilly, for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't know.
You're major delayed, I think, or something.
Gilly's
really?
Problems. Yeah. I mean, you weren't early in the podcast. I would say in the last 5% of the podcast, you've been causing problems.
I've been causing problems. How about now? Still?
No,
how about I exit and come back? I'm going to exit and come back.
No, you're better now.
You sound good now. Yeah.
Oh, you know what it was? Because I was charging my laptop.
You think you can sneak that charger by, man? That charger charger's undefeated.
Maybe if I do it slowly.
There's no way that makes any technical sense whatsoever. I will make any bet right now with the other two guys on here that we have problems in the next 10 minutes.
All year, as soon as I charge my laptop, Mike buzzes or I go on delay.
Well, you just had problems again. So are you charging again?
No, I'm not charging. Let me just go out and come back.
Yeah, that might actually work. That might actually work. All right, you want me to go on my next one, guys? We all just did one.
Everybody did one. Yeah, it's Gilly's turn again. He's frozen.
Well, we have 3 of us on the under right now.
You guys, yeah, that's not going to go well. I would say load it up on the over. It's too obvious.
Back kickoff returns for touchdowns to start the game. Is there a prop on that somewhere?
I already know. I'm already marking this.
We're totally losing it. We're totally losing this bet.
What's too obvious?
All right. Number 2 is I'm taking the Bears. I'm taking the Bears plus the point.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the 6.5 against the Lions. It's for, a lot of the reasons we said, right? It's a spate of injuries, as what's the word I'm looking for? Choppy as Caleb's play is. By the way, he's got to get rid of the fucking ball. Like, he's just like, it's the whirling dervish with the football.
Yeah.
Like, just throw it, dude. I just think that the Bears are good enough to stay within the number here. I don't know what the weather is. I should probably check the weather. The colder, the better.
Cold.
If Jared Goff still has a cold weather problem.
I think it's in the 30s, I thought. Am I wrong?
Yeah, which, I don't know if it plagues him anymore, but the Lions are not used to playing outdoors. This used to be a bugaboo for Goff early in his career. There was that famous Monday night, I think it was a Monday night game in Chicago where it was like 32 degrees, and Jared Goff looked like he wanted to die out there. California kid. It's just a lot of points. I think
it'd be 29 degrees in case you were wondering. 29 degrees. Yeah.
Give me the Bears plus the points.
On the wind.
I will have to endure it, but I'll take the Bears plus the points. That seems like too many to me. 6.5. Which brings us to Willie for number 2.
This was one of mine too. I don't want to have the same card as you, so I might just switch it up here.
Do it.
That's scary. Yeah. Let me pick a
different one. This is what Drew was talking about, though. Like, all the value is on the crap teams this week.
For sure.
It's a hard week to deal with.
I want to take the Browns. I'm tempted as hell to take DTR, but
Kelley and I did. We both bet the Browns, and I got off it as soon as, because we didn't think DTR thing was real. Why are they playing him?
Well, it seems like the other quarterback likes to throw the ball to the other team a lot.
No, I get that. I do understand.
Yeah, but he also finds his own players in the end zone, which no quarterback on the Browns has been able to do in 3 years or whatever. It's insane. DTR, like what? Just the future of the franchise because you're going to be so cash strapped from everything you screwed up with Deshaun Watson that you're going to start building around DTR now. This is a disaster.
I'm going to go.
You're robbing every NFL fan. You know what? For every one of us that's in the content business, anyone who likes to just watch a fun football game, Jameis Winston's great for football.
He is. I'll agree with that. I'll 100% agree with that. That's
I'll go Seattle plus the 3 here. It's 3, right? No more hooks?
Yeah.
Seattle.
Well, that's another weird thing from last week. Texted Gill that yesterday. I guess just Patrick Mahomes and Geno Smith just fine this week. They're just fine.
They're fine.
Just fine.
They're fine. They're not human. Everything's okay. By the way, that is the most underrated thing about Patrick Mahomes is his ability to heal is incredible. Off the chart. Doesn't matter what happens to that guy. He's like, I'll play.
Both of those guys, when they got up last week, I was like, all right, see you in a few weeks, maybe. It was like, oh no, they're back at practice immediately. Cool. Got it.
Look, I hope Minnesota wins out and gets the 1 seed. I'd be very happy about that. But this win streak, I mean, they could have easily lost to Atlanta. Their defense down to down was not great. Arizona outgained it by 200 yards. And it's a lot of Tennessee and Jacksonville in here. And that's always been a house of horrors for Minnesota going to Seattle. Seattle's got good weapons. So to me, laying points on the road with Minnesota, a team that's not used to dealing with expectations, they're probably hearing all week, hey, we're 3 wins away from the 1 seed. I don't know how that is going to register with them in this role as a favorite. Look, great story. 6.5 win total. They're sitting here at 12-2. It's amazing, but Laying 3 on the road, I think, is a bridge too far. If it's Howell, this bet's a disaster. But if it's Geno, I think it's a good bet, and I do think it'll be Geno. So I'll take Seattle plus the 3.
Willie, what about the fact that the large men that stand between the quarterback and the other team seem to forgot how to block for the quarterback last week for Seattle? Does that give you any pause at all? Because I couldn't believe how bad the pass blocking was, whether it was Geno or Howell in the game. They couldn't block the Packers. It looked like the Packers were sending 14 guys. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was bad. Do you like Minnesota in this game, Toddy?
No, I'm scared to play Minnesota for the same reasons that you're talking about, but I just can't get myself to Seattle with that offensive line. Looked so horrendous. It was unbelievable.
That's been like their whole season, though. If they had an offensive line, they'd be the second best team in the NFC, probably. Like, they got everything else. Like, it's the defense has come along. The offensive weapons are great. The offensive line's been a disaster the whole year.
Yeah. Well,
Toddy,
I don't know.
you're up.
Anyways, we'll hope you win, Willie. At this point, I can root for you because you're so far back in the standings that, I like to root for the bottom feeders, Anyways, just
Minnesota won and I lost my pick. I wouldn't be heartbroken, by the way.
Okay, this one, I'm just going to make this one based on the laundry. Okay, this is a laundry pick. There's a purple team, there's a black and gold team in that, and we all know when the purple team and a black and gold team get together, it's going to be hard-hitting football in that. It's going to be tight. There ain't going to be no, Lions against the Rams, against the Bills, 8,000 points. What is that? That's not even football. That's arena ball. This is football. It's going to be 1917 because that's the way these two teams play football. They play it like it was meant to be played. They go out there and they kick some ass. Okay? So come on. Look, I understand the Ravens are not a good team on defense, but 45.5 in a Steeler-Raven game? Come on. The first game was 18-6. There's no Pickens. That's slim Pickens at wide receiver for the Steelers. We don't got no Pickens in that. It's going to be trouble on offense. I don't know if Yins are watching last week's ball game against the Eagles. We were not good on offense, folks, regardless of whether the fact we got the ball or not. I know we only got the ball twice in the second half. The bottom line is we're not moving the ball without Pickens, without him, okay? We don't have him. It's a problem.
What's the parking situation in Baltimore? How much is it for parking?
It's interesting that you mentioned that, but I don't comment on parking in other stadiums. I only do Acrisure parking and Rivers Casino in that. And
how much is it there?
Just remember, it's 80 to 100 depending on the situation, unless you have a black card. But that's a whole nother thing. Here's what I'm saying. I'm going under 45.5. It's a Steeler-Ravens game. Get the hell out of here. It should never be 45.5 in a Steeler-Ravens game. I mean, I gave you the stats last time in the Harbaugh game with the Steelers. It was like 0-10 or something with 3 points or less. I think the line's also ridiculous, but just give me the under 45.5 and I'll get the hell out with an easy win.
Well done. People were waiting for that. Well done. Still to come, Todd getting signals into his ear, and maybe a Miami Dolphins fight zone. Kelley, you snake, you got 2. You're second and third.
This is why I joined. Is I wanted the Miami Dolphins fight song, right? This is why I agreed to come today, is because I wanted to hear that. It's one of the greatest fight songs just in sports history.
If you try to prompt him, he doesn't do it. So just it's
okay.
like when you try to get a dog to do
talk.
Something. Yeah, you know how like a dog, if you make a funny noise, will turn his head, but when you try to get him to do it, they won't do it. It's the same thing with Todd and Dolphins.
Like a dog, basically.
Am I allowed to go team total here, or
no?
You're not on the rules.
Todd, can you consult the bylaws
of
the Constitution, please?
I mean, everyone knows that you can't go team total.
Side total team. Okay. Fine. I'll just lay the points with the Buccaneers. How about that? I'm just going to lay the full 3.5 or 4. Okay.
4.
But I think
4. You're going to lay 4.
It's going to be an off. Yeah, I'm going to lay 4. But lay 4, it's not going to be a problem anyways because they're going to blow out the Cowboys. This offense is one of the best of the operating like one of the best of the NFL right now with the points they're putting up. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to keep up with them at all. We saw Cooper Rush go into Carolina last week, have a great week. Congratulations. He looked okay the week before against the Bengals. Looked okay against the Giants. You're not going to be able to keep up, I think, offensively with what Tampa Bay is going to be able to do. So I'll lay the full 4 with them on Sunday night.
What's your third and last, sir?
Oh, and then my third and last. Let's see here. This is not my teaser, correct? All right, so I'm going to lay the 3 with
If
the
you
Rams.
need some time, we can go back. We can go
No,
back
I'm
to
gonna
somebody else.
I'm gonna lay the 3 with the Rams. So lay the 3 with the Rams. This is what I've been battling over all week, but I'm gonna lay 3 with the Rams here. The secondary being beat up for the Jets, what Stafford's been able to do outside of that first half of that monsoon last week has been pretty damn impressive with how this offense has been moving the ball up and down the field. The Jets. Honestly, I thought they were going to be worse the past couple of weeks. They've been a little bit more competitive than they thought they were going to be. I think a little bit of credit to Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams for staying competitive when they easily could have just waved the white flag on this season. But defense hasn't been as good. They're getting beat up now. Rams with everything to play for still. I think we see a higher scoring game here, but I'll lay the 3 with the Rams.
Who is a more loathsome human being, Aaron Rodgers or Doug?
Who was the second one?
I'll go Rodgers still.
Rodgers.
Oh, Doug Gottlieb. He said anybody you, and then they beat him.
Yeah. Without having seen all of the Gottlieb stuff, I'll still confidently answer Rodgers.
Confidently Rodgers.
Confidently.
Toddy, your last one.
I have 2 possibilities. You know what? I'm just gonna look. I'm gonna do what I think is the obvious pick, but it's probably wrong. I got to go under 41.5 here in this Kansas City game. To me, Houston is a under team in the National Football League. Their offense does not impress me. I've somehow found a way. In the Miami game, I knew it was going under, and I played the third quarter under and lost because of a fake punt and found a way to lose that one, even though it was a dead under. Same thing that happened in the Chiefs game to me. So it's been really tough sledding in the NFL the last 2 weeks. But I'll go under the 41.5. I mean, Mahomes they're obviously going to be real careful with Mahomes if he's going to play. Am I wrong in saying that they're probably not going to let him be running around all over the place and do his Mahomes kind of things? I would think they were going to play really conservative here with Mahomes' injury. And so that means to me, just the short passing, even more Kansas City ball control offense, which we already see. So I think lots of Kansas City ball control offense. I still like Kansas City's defense, and I think Houston's offense stinks. So, and Houston's defense is not that bad. So, and I know this line is ridiculously low. I mean, 41.5 in today's NFL does sound kind of low, but I looked at the weather also. I believe it's going to be, when I looked at it before, it was like 30, low 30s. That's not like real easy to move the ball in weather. I mean, it's not terrible, but I just think that it smells like, to me, like an under. I'm going to make this the under week. I got under Broncos, under in the Steelers, and one more under 41.5 with the Chiefs. To me, the Chiefs are a great defensive type team now. They're no longer the high flying Chiefs. We've talked about that many times. And Houston is just, to me, I don't see it on offense. I really am not impressed with their offense at all.
How about
you guys wish they spread the Saturday action out a little bit more? 3 college games, 2 NFL games. I've compared it to, the waiter brings the appetizers and the entrees and the desserts and just kind of throws it all on the table, and you don't know where to start. I like these Saturday NFL games when they're kind of on their own. I think it's just a lot at once, but it's first world problems for sure.
Yeah,
Kelly, what did you say this morning?
It's legit. Look at the schedule. It's legit noon Eastern to midnight of what you're going to have to be prepared to watch football if you're going to take in every college football playoff game and the NFL games. Yeah, I'm with you, Will. Yeah,
we're not mentally.
Yeah, we're not mentally prepared. Yeah.
The Chiefs are 13-1. We did our power rankings. We don't have them top 3. They're 13-1 and could conceivably, right, still go 15-2 or 16-1 even, which would make them the number 1 seed. They would eliminate Buffalo at that point. How is Andy Reid not the coach of the year ever? Like, is there a possibility he could win coach of the year with all the other great candidates? If they go 16-1, you can't give it to him. Then you're saying you can never give it to him.
You know what's really sad, Gil? So I've been pushing this narrative since I don't know, week 6 it feels like with Mahomes, because the whole conversation every year with the Chiefs, it's you can't consider Andy Reid because Mahomes is going to be in the MVP race, which makes sense, except for like now we're in this Chiefs era of them having a great defense and struggling to move the ball offensively, and Andy Reid should get credit for that. Problem is, I think it's I think with all the other great candidates out there, he's maybe drawing dead at this point, Gill. Well, the only thing that could have helped him is if Patrick Mahomes missed a game or two and they still won. And if that was the case, then he's probably skyrockets to the top of the board.
So the only way he can win it is if Patrick Mahomes misses, let's say, 2 games and they still go 16-1. And even then, people are going to be like, yeah, but Kevin O'Connell, Dan Campbell, Mike Tomlin, Sean Payton.
No, I think if Mahomes missed this game, which it doesn't look like it's going to, but if Mahomes missed this game, a Saturday game, a standalone game, and he won with Wentz, I think the buzz would really start to ratchet up. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to get
that. That was going to be one of my picks. I was going to take Andy to pick up a win with Wentz. I thought they would win with Wentz, but anyways.
By the way, Will, you touched on something there, the primetime game. This is also why, and I know people think I'm just talking through my bet, which I do. Full disclosure, I have a bet on Lamar Jackson to win MVP. Lamar Jackson of, what is it now? How many? 34 touchdown passes and 3 picks? Who is apparently people think has no chance of winning MVP. He has some primetime standalone situations. Like if he performs great, you cannot tell me the MVP race is over. There's no way. If Lamar Jackson plays great and he ends up with, I don't know, 42 touchdown passes and 4 picks, and let's say 1,000 yards rushing, it's still Josh Allen? It's just
Josh Allen's been so incredible, though.
He has been, but I'm just saying, people minus 900 on Josh Allen? Stop it.
I think that's a little high. Minus 900 is a little high. By the way, did you guys see Gruden telling the story about him and Andy Reid?
I did. That was really
trying to get their play into Holmgren's game plan, and he talks about it's really good. If you haven't seen it, go on Twitter and find it. It's really hysterical. It's basically
I retweeted
Gruden telling the story. Gruden was an assistant and Andy Reid was an assistant, and they were trying to get Holmgren to call their play in the thing, and it's a really funny story. But anyway,
he's a great storyteller. He's a really good storyteller.
Gruden does he do it with that face the whole time, or he's like,
of course he has that face. I love Frank Caliendo as Gruden too. He's fantastic. You know why, man? Because I love football.
I can't stop watching the Robo, the guy who does the Robo Colin Coward, not Colin Coward, Chris Collinsworth videos. Yeah, I can't stop. I didn't realize he did multiple of them. Like when the first time I got sent one of them, I was like, well, this video is hilarious. And then I figured out who the guy was or whatever. I'm like, oh wait, he's done 18 of these, and I'm gonna watch every single one. He's just walking around the grocery store talking about it, I don't know, Jim.
I don't know, Jim. And Collinsworth's like, here's a guy. Here's a guy. So great.
Thanks,
the Romo thing has gotten ridiculous, though. When what was the game where it required an onside kick recovery? Oh, Detroit Buffalo. And when Buffalo finally recovered that onside kick, the entire time, if you play that back, Romo was like, Buffalo recovered, Jim. So bad. Online, that's what he's reduced to now.
I gotta figure out who this guy is. We gotta get him on this show just for 2 minutes, and then we'll be like, all right, you can
go. Will, you're last.
I am going to buck the trend here. I agree with everything Todd said about Pittsburgh, Baltimore. I know these games are always close and low scoring. I'm actually going to lay it with Baltimore. I think Pittsburgh is fake news. I think without Pickens, and he did not practice Wednesday, which is not a good sign for his availability on Saturday. I just don't know what offense Pittsburgh has. And I think the trend of these games are always close, always low scoring is kind of depressing this line, where this line should maybe be closer to 7. I just think Baltimore has heard forever, hey, Lamar doesn't play well against Pittsburgh. You guys never beat Pittsburgh when it counts. You guys never win these big games. Lamar's never good in these big games. I think Baltimore has a big effort in them. I think Pittsburgh offense has a ceiling. I think they're flawed on offense, and I think Watt's banged up. There was also a couple injuries defensively for Pittsburgh in terms of their starters, guys banged up. I think Baltimore wins this game something like 27-10, 27-13. I think Baltimore actually wins with some margin here, so I'll lay it with the Ravens.
Minus 6.5 for that.
Yes.
My last one is just a numbers play. It's the only bet I have in my account currently, though I will add this under tonight here momentarily. I got the Skins at plus 3.5, man. I'll take that hook. It's one of the few on guessing lines.
Wait, have you done your research and checked whether the referees know the rules of the game before the game starts?
I've done that. I will check on if it's the same crew. This was on guessing lines. I guessed 3. Kelley said like disrespectful, and I think it is a little bit. Like it should be 3. I get it. 3.5. All right, I'll take my chances. For a franchise, and I know this is one of these things where you go back and you're like, it's a different team. But for whatever reason, Philadelphia, even in this iteration with Jalen Hurts, they just have trouble with Washington. This is like even pre-Jaden. They didn't when they played earlier this year because Philly did that same thing that they do to every team, which is you play with them for about a half, maybe even like into the third quarter, and then they just wear you, which is again what they did to Pittsburgh in this past week as well. But that is the game script for every Eagles game. I think the Skins play them tough. I think they may even pull off an upset, but 3 with the hook, I'm absolutely taking. That's my point.
By the way, that was the game that was a really tight game on a Thursday night, wasn't it? And then the Eagles, I think the Eagles were even losing. I won on that one, if I remember, because I had the Eagles, and then the Eagles kind of blew it open, but it was a much closer game, if I remember correctly.
A lot of Eagles games are that way, though, right? Like 2.5 years in, you're like, oh, it's nip and tuck. And then they end up winning. Like Cincinnati game was like that. They won by 21.
Elliott left 7 points on the board that game, though. Remember, he missed 2 field goals and an extra point. Elliott was terrible in that game.
Yeah, but the Skins left something on the table, too. I remember. We had this topic. I can't remember what it was exactly.
Wait, Gilly, did you have, just to be sure, that you had the Bears plus 6.5? Is that correct?
That is.
Yeah, wait, I'm hearing something. Wait, I'm hearing. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, wait. Yes, I'm hearing. Lions lead 24-20. The Bears are trying not to make the mistake they made on Thanksgiving Day and try to win this game. Gilly looks like he's covering. There's a guy named Gill Jim that we might have both heard of that has Bears plus 6.5. Okay, here's back to pass with Joe. He's sacked. The ball's fumbled. Oh my God, this could be the last play. They're just supposed to fall on it, Jim. No, they're going to run it back. The final's going to be 31-20. I don't believe it. NFL teams usually just fall on the ball now, but this guy's going to run it all the way back, and Kelly's not going to come. I'm going to die, Jim.
The kid is purple. Medic. Doctor on the set.
Oh, man.
So great. All right. Which brings us to our teaser. Kelley, what was your teaser again? Because you said it 50 times at the beginning. What was it again?
Yeah, Broncos Bengals is my teaser this week. Take the Broncos up to 8.5. Bengals down to 1.5 with against legendary quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson on the other side for the Cleveland Browns. I like that one.
Todd, you okay? You catch your breath?
All right, I have to take a moment. I have to take a moment. Why don't you guys do your teasers first?
I didn't even know what happened in the game, but I figure I lost. Is that what happened? Let me guess.
You lost.
It was 24-20 on the last play of the game, and
the Bears
Caleb was trying to get a touchdown. The Bears fumbled the ball, and usually they just fall on the ball, and the game would have been over. You would have covered, but for some reason, the guy decided to run it back, and you lost 31-20.
A result significant to some.
It's a bad beat. I'll use the Broncos tonight. All the reasons we talked about should be close, should be low scoring. I don't see anyone really getting margin, barring turnovers or something like that. So I'll go Broncos plus 8.5, and I'll double dip on the Ravens. I don't think they're losing this game to the Steelers. So Broncos plus 8.5, Ravens -0.5 to the Steelers.
I'm on the Ravens teaser side as well, or shizzle. And I am going to give up my card by going non-Wonger again, and I'm going to take the Skins plus the 9.5. Forget you, Stanford Wong.
There's not a lot of Wong options this week, right?
Bro,
just a warning, Gilly. Fez does listen to this podcast.
Fez is going to be.
He's coming on air with you tomorrow.
You're going to be facing.
You might get a citation tomorrow.
You might get a citation.
Todd, what do you think about the fact that Fezzik thinks he can take you down in tennis now? What do you think about that?
I think that he's, a wise guy. You should talk to him about whether 3.5 -10 or -4 plus 27 is better than plus 3.5. But when he's being a tennis scout, he is not at his best, and he does not understand that he's not good. and that I don't even have to play tennis to beat him. I can just slap the ball to his backhand with a little bit of spin on a low slice, and he can't do anything about it. Even at 324 pounds, I beat him. And that's an embarrassment to the game. You've got to be able to hit the ball back. And if a fatso can just slice the ball to your backhand and you can't get it back, how are you going to compete? I just don't get it.
Thought you'd want to chime in. All right, final two questions.
I'm going to back up Fezzik real quick with the same Jameis rant. Jameis is great for the NFL. Fezzik is great for Twitter. Okay, just let him go about his 3.5s. All right, he almost blew up the whole site the other day. Jeez.
He hasn't figured. I mean, there's nothing he loves more than discussing whether 3.5 or 4 and how many cents you should take and all. It's just like it's the best. And then the arguments that ensue are always good. Also,
right.
I'm gonna go with.
We skipped.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, we skipped me. I kind of want to take. I kind of like the Bengals too, but I just feel snake bit by that 1.5 thing last week. I guess I'll go with. You know what? I'll go with the Jaguars up to 8. Is that right?
Not a bad one. Yeah.
Are you doing the Jaguars or are you doing the Jaguars? Which one are you doing?
Jaguars plus 8, just because the Raiders, I don't know if you guys have been watching this football, but the Raiders offense, it's hysterical. It is literally hysterical. I mean, I don't understand what these guys. Desmond Ridder was terrible. Don't get me wrong. I knew he was going to stink in the NFL because I remember him at Cincinnati. He was a guy who would go back to pass and then just run for 50 yards. He wasn't going to be an NFL, but I remember him at the Falcons. He was passable slightly. Whatever happened? Same thing with Howell. Howell was not great with the Redskins, but I saw him do some nice things once in a while. Same thing with Ridder.
Howell looked like he didn't practice. You're right.
I couldn't believe how bad. Now, granted, they weren't blocking for him either, but still, Howell looked like if you could line him up, he wouldn't be able to complete a pass if you gave him 50 chances. That's how bad it was. I couldn't believe it. And the same thing with Ridder. Ridder looks like he's regressed from his time in Atlanta, which wasn't great, don't get me wrong, but he had some moments, He looks so bad to me. It's unbelievable. So I'll take the Jaguars plus the 8 because that Raider team is just hysterical to watch. And I'll take, it's so tough. I'm going to go with Kelley. Bengals minus 1.5. I don't see DTR doing it.
I love when you said, go ahead, Kelley. What did you say?
I was going to say Raiders home field gets at least like a point boost this week, though, with it being Jacksonville on the road. I mean, it's not like there's Jacksonville fans flying to Vegas for this game.
Although if you're Jacksonville and it's the end of a dead season and you're in Vegas for the weekend, are you all buttoned up, or are you maybe visiting delicious,
having a good time?
Friends? Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, wrong person to ask.
Now delicious friend. That Todd, what you said there, where you're like, I don't know if you guys watch this football. One of the many great Toddisms through the years, like maybe your smartest comment ever, because all of the weeks, all this shit that we talk about week to week, is we watch. This is right up with you saying buy Bitcoin ETFs and whatever other things you said in the past. But you said we just watch more football games than these coaches do. That's why they fuck this stuff up. Because they're so locked into their X's and O's, right? And they don't watch situational football like we do because we watch 1 billion games. I always think about that to this day. I'm like, you're probably right. It probably comes down to that.
Well, how much time do you think these guys have time to be watching all the games? There's no way they do.
No.
Yeah.
But you also say that if they gave you 1.5 years, you'd be a better offensive coordinator than all of them.
No, I would be. And I think you would be also. I hate to break it to you. I mean, you wouldn't be as good as me, but you could probably be a middle of the road offensive coordinator in 1.5 years. And I would be an elite one. It's Gilly. It's not.
Why wouldn't I be as good as you, Todd? Why? Why wouldn't I be as good as you? Because you have
wouldn't be
something.
I mean, you don't expect. Look, the fact that you're not at an elite level doesn't mean you're not elite. You could still be elite, just not elite. Yeah. It's not your fault. Okay. But my point is, this stuff is not. It's not rocket science. If you watch them break down the film, and you start to understand how that all works and the language of it, you start to realize it's not rocket science, guys. It sounds like rocket science. There's progressions, there's defensive, it's not rocket science. Okay. Anybody like me or you, who's a very smart guy, I'm not talking about Will Hill. I'm talking about me or you. It's a whole, it's not a year. It's not more than a year and a half.
So let me get this straight. Jews versus non. Is that what you're saying? Jews versus non.
I'm a renounced Jew. One second. I'm a renounced Jew. Put that in the book.
I do agree with you though, that they do make it sound much more complicated. Like that's a scissors concept right there that they just ran, which is literally two guys going like that, right?
Scissors concept. Watch the film. Watch them talk about it's not rocket science. Trust me. I guarantee you the options market and how do you be a market maker on the floor of the New York Commodity Exchange is about 8 billion times more complicated than NFL coaching offensive coordinator. So if I could master that, I certainly can master this, and you as well. Again, Will, I'm not sure. Let's leave him on WNBA commenting.
I remember Terry Bradshaw saying it's not nearly as complicated as people make it seem. Guy was open, I threw it to him. That's all you need to know.
Gill on the actual wording. Yeah, you on the actual wording though. This is what I always say about like the lawyer, like the legalese words out there, where you're just like, this word is far more complicated. They're just using it just so lawyers can use it, and then get to say you have to go to law school to practice and then be able to use this kind of language. But you just go look up these words and you're like, well, you could have just substituted an easier word. So yeah, Gill, it's a lot of that, man. It's a lot of that.
Kelley, pursuant to what we've already discussed, not one of the things that we weren't planning. It's now time for the final two questions. That kind of.
But by the way, before you do the final two questions, a guy like Andy Reid could have also worked on the option market making, floor as well. That guy's a very bright, and you see that's why he runs rings around the other guys. But anyways.
Well, you say that too. That if Fezzik had to relive his life, he should have been on Wall Street. Like, why are you bothering with this stuff?
I mean, he's so ridiculous. He's a numbers guy if anything, he should have been a bond trader on Wall Street. If he's just trying to maximize earnings, the football is just stupid for him to be involved with. It's just silliness. But then we would lose.
I don't know everything about that world, but when you're in Vegas and you know all of the ins and the outs, you get free muffins at certain spots, and I don't know if the other places you get the free muffins.
Also,
we do have to tip our hat.
And $10 of free drinks every day.
Fezzik has figured out how to maximize the free things you can get in Vegas better than any human being alive, including my friend Jake, who can drive the manager crazy at Starbucks for his $8 thing, even though he's worth $8 million. So he has done something that no one has ever done. He's gone places where no one has ever, as far as maximizing free comps.
Also, Fezzik, would he have, if he were on Wall Street, would he jump on Twitter just slamming other Wall Street people? Would that be part of his thing also?
I can't believe you sold at this point, this price
fucking
point.
Idiot.
Like Jerome Powell doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. This quarter point, it's ridiculous.
All right, final two questions of each and every Megapod since its inception as the betting dork over a decade ago. Question number one: which of the big favorites, in your opinion, is the most likely to lose outright? Here are your candidates. Ravens, 6.5-point favorites hosting the Steelers. Bengals, 7.5-point favorites hosting the led Brownies. Lions, 6.5-point favorites on the road against the Bears. Bills, 14-point favorites at home against the Patriots. God, there's a lot. Falcons with Penix, 8.5-point favorites at home against the Giants. Is that the last one? That is the last. No, Green Bay, Monday night, of course. Yeah. 14-point favorites at home against the Saints, which is going to be a very popular survivor pick for those who have it. Kelley, likely to lose outright, sir?
I will go with the Atlanta Falcons, because should we all be so shocked if a rookie quarterback at his first start just looks like a rookie quarterback at his first start? So yeah, I'll go with that one. As bad as the Giants are, I will say Atlanta Falcons. I would not be surprised if that happens.
I think that's the correct answer. I'm going to say Falcons too.
I like it just also because the Falcons aren't a real football team. The coach is, I don't know what Raheem's doing. He just doesn't have it together. he might probably a very good coach in other ways, but he just does not engender confidence. I could easily see them losing.
Thing is, like we were talking about how the coaches do that, but like I had Memphis in that college football bowl game the other night who were they playing? West Virginia.
Yeah.
Memphis was playing West Virginia, and the kid on Memphis gets the game clinching interception. All he has to do is go down, but instead he's like, let me see if I can. If there's an opening, maybe I'll go touchdown just for giggles. And of course he gets the ball knocked out, right? But they go to review, and right before he gets the ball knocked out, he goes finally after like 5 seconds. He goes into a slide. And Kirk Morrison, the color guy, legitimately says at the end, swear to God, he goes, "What? That's what saved him. That guy was smart enough to go into a slide." I'm like, what?
As I said before,
the
football watching, the football coaching, the football announcing, these are not your Mensa members, folks. These are not your Mensa members. But whenever that happens, I always remember the Schottenheimer against, I think it was Belichick. And was it a playoff game where the same thing happened, where the Chargers guy intercepted? It would have ended the game, but he tried to run and he fumbled the ball. Was that Schottenheimer against Belichick like a long time ago? Yeah, I'll never forget that one because I believe it was a playoff game.
It was. I think it was the 14-2 San Diego team, and Schottenheimer got fired after that. I'm pretty sure that's the one, 2007. I actually think Atlanta wins. The Giants are just terrible. I think Penix pounds the Giants with a big effort. As Gil picked up on it. I'll go Lions Bears. I think the Lions could be in some trouble. Bears will give them a hard time, I think.
Silly boys. And then the last question. All right, let's say we lived in a bizarro world. You were forced to bet a side on every game this week, but you were allowed one free pass, one game that you wouldn't bet with the other person's money. What is the game you want no part of, Kelley?
The Tennessee Titans and Indianapolis Colts. Have fun with that rest of world.
Oh.
Willie, side, total, props, everything. I got nothing to that. Are you kidding me?
Kelley's a good one. I'll go. I will go, and there's plenty of options here. Yeah, Arizona, Carolina. Here, you can.
Oh, that's mine. That's mine, Will. Arizona, Carolina. Enjoy, people. Figure that one out. Arizona, like 5-point favorites on the road. Toddy? Just one more question, Todd.
Yeah, I don't. There's so many of these games that I don't really want to be a part of. But the Niners and
all
the
you
Dolphins,
have to do is pick one, which is amazing.
Niners and the Dolphins, I don't like. Willie's mad that I didn't make him an offensive coordinator. Okay, maybe in 3 years he could be an offensive coordinator.
You can make him a wide receivers coach.
Yeah. Look, today, right now, I would put him on WNBA Countdown and make him the pregame announcer to all the pregame show where they're gonna have Caitlin Clark coming up at 7:00 on WNBA Countdown with Willie. Willie, tell us a little bit about how.
Speaking of which, did you guys see the outrage over Caitlin Clark getting her jersey announced and it was retired too soon, and all these other players had to wait, so she should have to wait? That was the latest one.
Wait,
what? Is that what you guys sent me during the show this morning?
Yeah,
is that what that was?
They're retiring her jersey.
Yeah, they're retiring her jersey. I guess Iowa does this really early. They had some other player where they retired her the year after. And look, they're not selling any tickets, so it's a way to get. I think the cheapest ticket's like $500. It's a cash grab.
Why wouldn't Iowa retire her jersey? Why do people have problems with that? Why?
Well, I think the amount of time is what I would bring up. But if Will's saying they've done this before, then then there's already precedent. Who cares?
It's not like they're retiring her WNBA number. They're retiring her jersey at Iowa where she finished playing basketball and changed the game. Like,
and they're going to make a shitload of money on that. Yeah.
Oh my God.
More people watch.
The hateration is real.
I still can't believe more people watch the NCAA Girls Championship game than the men's championship game when Purdue played UConn last year. That to me that is the most. What odds would you ever give that? If I told you that for the 50 years previous, would you ever say that a women's NCAA game would it would be impossible?
That's how impactful she is.
And you got 2 1 seeds too in the men's game. It's not like it was Florida Atlantic versus San Diego State or something. You got Juggernaut versus Juggernaut. You got Edie and you got the 2 big men, and it was that's incredible. I will venture guess that will not happen again this year. Just a wild guess.
It's a wild guess. And Kelley and I were talking about how not the WNBA, the NBA ratings have plummeted, have like been cut in half. And it's like Adam Silver's got to rob Manfred the game up somehow. He's got to come up with some gimmick of some kind or some rule
Maybe they have
change.
the golden shooter. You get one shot worth 20 points at the end of the game. The golden shooter. That would be
you know what has been floated? A blinking arc. Where like it counts 4 points when like the arc blinks or some shit.
But that's even worse. Then there'd be even more 3-point shots. The problem is there's too many 3-point shots. Why would they want to make more 3-point shots?
The problem is there's a handful of problems, and it's just not a fix-all. I think it's the lack of American stars. I think it's a lot. The load management was a toothpaste you can't put back in. It's a number of different things, I think.
You're going to replace like LeBron, Curry, and KD are getting older, and they're going to retire. Yes. And you're replacing that with Jokic and Doncic and Wembanyama. Giannis. So you have non-Americans who are the face of the sport. Is the American sport fan down with that? Kind of, but not really. I think we're learning the answer. Anyway, we've done all we can do.
I think this year, I think it's a great point on I mean, the load management stuff. I think everybody's gotten used to complaining about, but the fact that you've seen that we've now gotten to this year and you've seen the 76ers basically say, we don't care. Like, we don't care. You can fine us whatever, do whatever. Like, this is the best way for us to win at the end of the day is to literally rest one of the best players in the world throughout the bulk of the regular season. Like that, Will's right from that standpoint. Like that is, we've hit a point with load management where there's no going back. If teams they don't care about whatever you're going to fine or do to them. It doesn't matter for the Sixers.
I would argue that is the single worst thing. That's above all, because, again, not to sound like I'm 1,000 years old, but Michael Jordan, look at his career stats. That dude played 82 games every fucking year.
Well, even Kobe, we're not talking Jerry West 50 years ago. We're talking Kobe like 8 years ago. Kobe was the same way. Yeah. If he was healthy, he was playing.
So why these guys, has the game changed so much? And their counter argument is, yes, the way the basketball is played now, if you track how much they're actually moving on a basketball court, it is exponentially more than those guys did. The fans are never going to buy that. The fans are just going to be like, you literally are not showing up for games. I bought tickets to this game and you're not playing. And on Twitter perfectly this morning, if fans don't think you care, damn sure we're not going to care. You know, that's the worst.
But why would you care? Why would you care if you made $8 gazillion? Right? Like they all talk about, we want to win a championship. Come on, seriously. You make $8 gazillion. You're busy trying not to get babies daddied every 5 minutes from these crazy ladies that are probably coming after you. You're trying to hope that your house doesn't get robbed half the time. I mean, it's not probably an easy life for these guys. They're freaking targets. These 23, they don't know what the hell they're doing. So anyways, enough of me.
Whoa. Players go on the road for games? Does anybody know about this? The burglars are just picking up on this now.
By the way, how many swimsuit models are there to secure your houses? I know Joe Burrow has a swimsuit model, but they don't all have swimsuit models.
All right. Before YouTube loves us anymore. Sorry about the X problem. Good luck for Will Hill and Todd Wishnev, the Pillars. Kelley, thank you for doing it, man. Appreciate it, as always.
Of course.
Annual guest, Kelley Bydlon. By the way, and great grooming. We probably should say that more often. Great grooming.
No, it's actually been bothering me too. It needs a brushing. Good.
You know, it's great grooming is Michael Penix. Very, very well groomed. That guy.
Manscaped.
Kelley Bydlon at Kelley Bydlon on Twitter. That's EY on Kelley, BYDLON. Will Hill at not the Will Hill, 2 E's in the V. Should have bet more is the name of the podcast. Todd Wishnev at